I'm really happy today to have Eveline Johnsson as the invitee for those dialogues on the reasons of photography. You're a photographer that is actually in Stockholm. You originally come from the west side of Sweden, I believe.
Yes.
Before going into the more details, I think we'll stick to the main question of this podcast: is why did you choose photography, or photography chose you?
That's actually a really interesting question, and I'm not sure I can answer it because maybe it sounds like heavily romanticizing it, but I can't remember anything else. I can't remember not photography. Since I saw a camera and got a camera in my hand first time when I was like 4 or 5, I've been photographing ever since. So I'm not really sure why. I think I have a lot of reasons. It's a lot of play. Mm-hmm. Photography is play for me and escape, maybe. But since I'm also a professional photographer now, so it's also work, job, and money. But I think that from the start, it was the potential of making things up, inventing, discovering, maybe making worlds. From the beginning, I was photographing my dolls and my toys and making little worlds with them, putting them up and making backgrounds that I painted. And in a lot of ways, that's still what I do when I choose to do photography for myself.
It's interesting because I've discovered you through Instagram. You have 2 accounts. I definitely went through one of them, who's Eveline. Yeah. I'll put all the links below the podcast. And that's really a sensation I get. There's always, for me, some story underlying. And that's one of the reasons I really follow your work and really like it. You say it's part of your life. How do you think your life would have been if you hadn't gone more into photography?
Maybe like a few years ago was the first time I asked myself that question. Maybe it's some kind of midlife crisis, because that was the first time that I actually questioned photography. It has always been like this very self-explanatory part of my life. But a few years ago, the pandemic and turning 40 and things like that. First time I questioned photography and felt like, what is photography for me and to me, or should I maybe not do photography? And that was like a big, it was hard for me. It was, I was feeling, what would my life be if photography is not for me anymore? If I come to the conclusion that no more photography, if I can't find the joy or the meaning again. Luckily, that is over now, so now I don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah, but very, very interesting thing you're saying. I think for many of us, the pandemic was kind of a turning point, actually, not only because of course, the impact of the pandemic itself, but the fact that we kind of found ourselves confronted to what we are, to our individuality, to some kind of solitude in our bubble. I'm sure you're saying that you don't think about it anymore, but I'm sure you answered quite a few questions. Was the pandemic kind of one of those worlds you've had imagined, or?
During the pandemic, I've always been shooting mostly people, and that changed during the pandemic. And then I did a lot of still lifes, and I also started doing a bit of abstract work. So I think that it was a time for me when I also got the opportunity to maybe take a step back and invent myself and photography again in a new way that was not so circled, not so much around other people and meetings. It was much about myself and the camera and the technique and the light, of course. And in the beginning, I think it was very important and fun and utmanande, challenging, and good for me. But I think that the span of the pandemic made everything harder because I realized that I need people. I need the meeting. That part is very important. And after a few years, it was exhausting. It was draining me to just be inside my own head and my own work. I need that other input.
Yeah, the stimulation from the world around you. I know in that period, tell me if I'm wrong, but you've focused quite a bit also on your hometown, but your home region, with lots of poetic landscapes and lots of kind of reflections on where you're from. Was that part of that process you're talking about?
Definitely, and I'm actually at Essunga, which is the place where I'm born, a small town in the west of Sweden. I'm actually there right now at a friend's house, and I'm always, since I moved to Stockholm in 2008, I've always been like this back and forth, and this some call it not committing to one of the places. But I feel like I have this need for the place that I'm from. So however my life is, I'm always like seeking and finding myself going back here and being here and walking my dust roads from my childhood. That's like something that is a big part of me. And I think that the fact that I'm from here is something that has formed me in my art and in my work also.
Do you think now that you've passed this moment, this critical point in your reflection on photography, how do you see the dichotomy between your work, which pays the bill, and the artistic sides of things? Are they splitting apart, or are you moving towards something else?
Maybe I am in a way moving towards something else, just because I feel like it's very important to me to get the time to do my own work for myself, my art, or whatever you should call that. Because working as a freelance photographer, it tends to consume a lot of time and a lot of energy. And it's been hard to find the time to make my own projects. And I feel like I tend to not value doing my own stuff and taking the time for that. And that is a problem I'm feeling. So now I'm actually studying communication now to see if there is a way that I can work with something also, because photography is not very well paid. Mm-hmm. So you have to work a lot to get the money. Mm-hmm. And maybe if there is some way that I can somehow free more time for my own work, because that's something that I really come to the conclusion that that's very important for me. The need to take pictures and the drive to do that is something that's been important for like every aspect of my life. A lot of people that I have met through photography. Maybe I found them somewhere and found them interesting and asked if I could maybe come and take some pictures of them, or we could do something together. That feels like the main part of my friends. That is my really close, real friends I have met in some way through my photography and through our interest or drive to make stuff and do art or play. So yeah, it's I can't imagine how my life would have been if not photography.
You're talking about communication probably taking a bigger part in practical life. Mm-hmm. What do you think other kinds of art form have? Do you think you would have opened up to some other medium?
Yes, and also I I do other kinds of art as well. I write a lot, and I paint a little, and everything that is the process of making is very appealing to me, and I feel that it's very important for everyone to have that possibility, or that little space in your life that you, when you make stuff, and that can be all kinds of stuff. Maybe art for me, it's art, but it can be anything. It can be, digging in your garden or painting your walls or anything. But I feel like just the process of doing it and being in that process.
Yeah, and how do you think? What do you think about how of the position of the viewer, the people who enjoy your art? How do you see that? Do you think you're actually impacting on their life, or do you have a message?
Is someone seeing my art?
Definitely, yeah.
I think, maybe. I have like this little quote from in the Avalanche account that someone once wrote on some of my old pictures. Someone said, "Oh, nice, natural and various." They said to one of my photos, and I think that, yeah, actually, natural and various. That's something I would like to refer as something that I want to be. And if someone feels that about me, that I'm natural and various, and maybe also inspiring in that way. You can do all kinds of stuff. You don't have to be, this, what's, the whole, your personal brand and that's part of like the social media. And I try to be not that.
Yeah. Do you have a right now? Did you see something recently, or do you have some current project going on that you might want to add things for?
I have a project that I softly started that is regarding places, like common places, from Essunga, where I'm from, like, the places like the clubhouses, or for sports, or we have something called hembygdsgårdar. It's like communal houses.
Mm-hmm.
You have like your 50-year anniversary party there.
Yeah.
And those common places that we create as people. I'm very interested in that. So I'm starting something where I want to shoot those places.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, looking forward to. You probably already posted a few of those.
Yeah, there are some of those are in my feed.
Yeah, definitely. So, I'm really looking forward for your work, your future work. And yeah, thanks again for that dialogue, and catch you soon.
Thank you.